Here's a bunch of more words to say out loud, which may help stop humanity from destroying their own lives, especially white people. More words that'll stop humanity from destroying their own lives, especially white people from destroying their own lives. What are the words that I would like to say? First off, I will only trust and or respect and or worship the soul spirit of perfect love. Once again, I will only trust, respect, or worship the soul spirit of perfect love. These are just random words. I'm going to just say them out loud. So that means I only trust or respect the soul spirit. I only trust or respect the soul spirit of love. I only trust or respect the soul spirit of love. Soul spirit love. Soul spirit love. You know what? If I am to have my own personal religion to some degree, since I am about to be worshiping, this is the worship now. Now that I know how to worship, I'm going to tell you in a second. Then my Trinity is going to be the soul spirit love. Soul spirit love. That's going to be my Trinity. Soul spirit love. Worship. More words to say out loud. I'm just saying some words, y'all. Worship. What does the word worship literally mean? The feeling or expression of adoration and reverence for a deity. The feeling or expression of reverence or adoration for a deity, or adoration or reverence. Adoration, reverence, adoration, reverence. That's what worship is. It's the feeling of expression for whatever deity is telling you to express or feel for it, as it is telling you to, express that adoration or reverence for it. Depending on how the deity is telling you to express yourself, right? Depending on how the deity is telling you to have adoration for it or reverence for it. It all depends on what the deity is you serve, right? See, your deity and my deity are two different things. But according to your stories that you all believe in, your deity and my deity are one and the same thing, but they're not. Because the deity in which I revere and or have adoration for or express adoration for is the soul spirit love, or the soul spirit of perfect love. That's the deity in which I give reverence or adoration to, in which I express my reverence or adoration to. So in other words, I literally worship my deity. The deity in which I literally worship is the soul spirit of perfect love. The deity in which I literally worship is the soul spirit of perfect love. And I just told you the literal definition of worship. The expression or feeling, or the feeling or expression of adoration and reverence. What does adoration mean? What does reverence mean? Respect. That's all it is. At the end of the day, both of those words, they simply mean respect or warm approval. It's adoration, meaning to admire. Adoration is meaning to admire as well, you see. But at the end of the day, both of those words simply mean to respect, to give your respects to something, you see. So in other words, to worship something is literally to give your respects to it as its soul tells you to do so. That's what it means to worship something, literally. However a thing is telling you to respect it is how you respect it. Or is how you worship it. That's the worship. That's worship. All of this time, I'm thinking about the definition of the word religion. I'm thinking about the definition of a word cult. That's why I came across the word religion, because of that word cult. I don't do cults. At first, I thought because it was like, worshiping some kind of or some kind of leader who wants to inflict some kind of weird rule over the world. Or a cult to me was a group of people hiding themselves from the black people of the world because they don't want the black people to know how much they're doing something in the shadows to ruin your life. Because that's what every cult is to me. A cult is just a group of white people somewhere in the world in the shadows doing something behind the scenes that's going to ruin every black person's life or ruin all of nature. How about that? Just say nature, because I don't do color. I just see what hates me and what doesn't, even though I just said black and white, right? I mean, at the end of the day, no matter how you want to slice the pie or cut the cake, the source of all the problems are the recessive geneity. The source of all problems in the world are deriving from the recessive geneity, physically, surface level, that is. What's beneath the surface, the core, is why what's happening on the surface is happening. What's beneath the surface is the core, why what's happening on the surface is happening. What's beneath the surface of the recessive geneity? Their influence. Their influence is beneath the surface. So whatever their influence is set up to be, is how they're going to keep getting driven to be. And due to their genetic flaws, making them the so-called white people in the first place, they have no abilities to resist whatever temptation is driving them to be wrong and driving them to be the source of all problems on the surface level. Because no matter how you slice the pie or cut the cake, once again, we only got black sellouts due to programming. Where is the programming coming from? The source of the world's problem on the surface level. So on the surface level, who's the source of the world's problems? What you would label and describe as the white people. So why are they doing what they're doing? What's beneath the surface then for them? The influence that's coming from somewhere else that you all get scared when we start talking about. Even the white people. Don't fear white people, don't hate white people. I just see what they are doing and why they're doing it. That's all it is. Sister Candace Owens just did a video showing, or just made a video showing Emmanuel Macron and Donald Trump. Emmanuel Macron being the same guy who hates Ibrahim Traoré, or who is working for another group of people who is keeping our great brother Ibrahim Traoré, as well as all of the other Burkina Faso people, subjected to the wrong way of living. Emmanuel Macron was just in Washington, right? With another white person, Donald Trump. They buddy, pal, you know? You see how it's all connected? How they have this entire world, this entire here nature, subjected to whatever ways they are influenced to keep them subjected to. You follow what I'm saying? Surface level, white people are the problem of the world, long story short. Beneath the surface, what's driving them to be the problem is the actual true problem in all of reality. Meaning, where did the ideas come from? Where are these ideas coming from? Why are these ideas coming from there as they are coming from there? You follow what I'm saying? So, I'm just going to say some more words out loud that may help encourage those who people like Emmanuel Macron, and as well as all of the other so-called white people on this planet and all of reality and everywhere that they are, stop being evil as you are seriously pretending to be. Maybe these words will help. Just want to go home. Heaven on earth. This is a way to do it right here. Putting an idea into the world. More words to say out loud that'll maybe stop all of humanity from ruining their own lives. More words to say out loud. I talked about worship. I talked about the soul spirit of love. I talked about how white people, or the recessive geneity, or people who have their genetics taken away to make them appear to us as if they are white people, but in reality, what they are, spiritual beings, as we are. Meaning the melanated people, or people with melanin, visible melanin. Spiritual beings is what we all are, right? These people, surface level, they all sealed up in, melanin sealed in, can't see it no more. All you can see is that the white meat. You follow what I'm saying? And people who are now white meated people globally are of what can be labeled and described as the devil's sword. But here's the thing though, it's the devil's sword. Remember, I'm saying words that are going to help all of humanity possibly stop ruining their own lives. So, the devil's sword. That's what the white people globally can be labeled and described as. People with sealed melanin, the devil's sword. But it's the devil's sword. The devil is what's beneath the surface. The devil is what's beneath the surface. The global white people, all white people globally, like Emmanuel Macron and Donald Trump, who seem to be friends as well. Vladimir Putin too, right? All of these countries who are deciding how melanated people globally should live. Them. They the devil's sword. But on the surface level, they are the damage unto all the world and the problems unto all the world thereof. But beneath the surface, they are only these things because of this here devil holding the sword in place to be the damage thereof. There are more details, but right now I just want to get the bigger picture out there as soon as possible, or the bigger picture out as much as possible. You follow what I'm saying? To where you can begin to simplify it more and speak on it with less amount of time or efforts to do so. You follow what I'm saying? So, what must happen for this to work? First off, we must be made aware of this here devil's stance and its boring of the sword into us. Because remember, we are nature. We also have to know not only the details of how the sword is being bored into we, but also too, who are we? You follow me? How can you know where the sword is cutting if you don't even know what the sword is cutting? How can you even know where the sword is cutting if you don't even know what the sword is or where it is or how it is in the first place or what it even looks like? You see, you got to know things first. Large details, but these details are going to be what contributes to stopping all of humanity from killing themselves. That's the whole purpose right there. Cosmic, celestial, heavenly nirvana. I say that's the sword sheath, then I'm going to put the white people in. In reality, that's where I'm putting everybody. On the same grounds. Or at least that's just going to be the first step towards getting out of hell. Did you know a planet can go upwards? Or at least like on the planet, you know, if you walk up the planet. Well, that's if you believe the planet is round, right? But if it's flat, you're just going over there. Right? Moving forward here. More words that may help stop humanity from destroying their own lives. I only trust, respect, worship. Trust, respect, and or worship the eternal, internal soul spirit of perfect love. And if you begin to do this, this causes the devil, or if you gain awareness of this here soul spirit of perfect love deity that I speak of. There we go. I'm going to start there now. If you gain some awareness of this here soul spirit of perfect love deity in which I speak of, just the awareness, the devil gets kicked 47 soul centillion soul yards away. I said soul too many times, didn't I? The devil gets kicked and or booted, supercharged, hyper-powered, oh my God, get away from us, 47 centillion soul yards away, is how the far the devil gets kicked. And then the acceptance of this, meaning you religious belief people. Just saying random words, man. Just piecing words together. Just piecing words together. And once the devil is kicked away because we got some awareness of this here soul spirit of perfect love, this here soul spirit of perfect love, we got some awareness of what it is truly, then the fusion with the religions transpires. You see. Did I say the kick too early? I believe I did. Yeah, because the kick happens in stage 2. The awareness comes in stage 1. Then the reincarnation. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, here, I'm going to reset it then. I'm going to reset it. Well, it's already too late. The words are out there and I can't edit the video. But here, I love you very much. So watch this. Awareness of the soul spirit of perfect love. Just the awareness. that there destroys ignorance, reverses it back to the soul's truth, and destroys fear and reverses it back to the true spirit. Take these words with you. More words to say out loud that'll stop all of humanity possibly from destroying their own lives. That's what this is. What is the truth? The truth literally defines as what's in accordance with being true. What is true? What's in accordance with fact or reality? The spirit is what's in accordance with fact or reality, isn't it? What is reality? The world. Or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to a notion or a notional idea of them. Remember, the world itself is a group of people. All people on this planet, you magnificent human beings you all are, so-called human beings. All together, you're a group of people. So that means if you were literally to define the world using it as what it literally is, a group of people on the planet together with all of its countries, peoples and natural features, not artificial or fake, natural features, right? Then reality would be the state of things of how the group of people exist. Then that means the definition of reality will be the state of things regarding how the people, the group of people called the world, exist in this here reality, you see. So that means if the group of people said, hey man, we're going to have 195 countries, 7 continents, umpteen amount of islands all over the place, 33,000 gangs, 5,000 tribes, 10,000 religions, and all these other different belief systems, that we all on this one oversized living room, as all little groups, individual groups of people in individual groups of peoples, like cults, you know, Christianity is a cult by definition. We're all just going to live in this here reality with all of these divisions and groups of people, different groups of people as such. And that their state of things manifests what? Hell, ultimately, all that division. The only thing that's keeping you all separated and divided is what you believe in. If you all believed in the same thing, how would you be? I mean, what if the world only had one belief altogether? Or just one way of living versus thousands and hundreds? What if the entire world got on one accord or one ground to stand on or together? What if that happened? What would it be? What would it be like? What if everybody in the world lived by the ways of the soul spirit of perfect love? That's ultimately what I'm getting at before I go into all the stages and all that yada yada talk. You know? I really just want to ask some simple and basic questions without getting too deep or cosmic into my information anymore. I would like to. Simple and basic questions. Just plain and simple questions. Keep it all plain and simple. Keep it all plain and simple. Keep it all plain and simple. What if this entire world, you know, just lived by the ways of the soul spirit's perfect love? What if we all did that? That's an idea we can all probably get behind all together, couldn't it? Wouldn't it be? If we all just live by the ways of the soul spirit's perfect love? What if we all live by the ways of the soul spirit's perfect love? How would it be for us all, for the entire world? This is a serious question here. I know I have to keep on playing my games and all that stuff there, you know. But what if the entire world lived by the ways of the soul spirit's perfect love? John 14:6. The way. Words have to be said out loud that can possibly stop all of humanity from killing itself. Natural intelligence beats artificial intelligence. Natural intelligence ain't going to enslave you because natural intelligence comes from you. Artificial intelligence comes from the oppressors. Why do you think they want you to have it? Why do you think they're beginning to say, hey, stop saying bad things about AI because we are busy trying to advocate it into the world so it can enslave them? We don't want anything to ruin our process of enslaving you and your family and your children. We don't want anything to ruin that. We want to enslave you in peace, all right? So here, look, stop telling these people this is dangerous, all right? Because if you tell these people this is dangerous, we won't be able to enslave them more easily. We'll have to destroy the world again, burn their children, feed them to alligators, you know, poison Muhammad Ali, and, you know, ensure that an endless amount of barbaric programming commences to weaken your mind-heart spaces in order to shorten your abilities to be able to say no to what is wrong. Because if you notice, all of the programming, like Mortal Kombat video games, for example, all video games are curses. Did you notice all of the programming has a whole lot of comfort with killing in it? I'm sure you all have noticed that. Our rap songs, death. Our video games, death. Our movies, death. Our food, death. Did you notice in all of our conversations, they're all mortal-minded? Nothing is leading you back to immortality. Nothing is leading you back to immortality in any of these conversations we're having. Why is that? Do we want immortality anymore? You know, it used to be. It's not difficult to go against you all when you're using your "we're all gonna die someday anyway" arguments to combat me. It used to be difficult because it's like that's like the key thing that is really hard to get past for me, like spiritually conflict wise. Oh, we're all gonna die someday. That's the one thing. I need more words to get past that argument right there. Long story short. Because it's like nobody really wants to live forever when they've been promised death their entire lives. I get it. The news is promising you death. The songs in the media are promising you death. Our women are promising us death. Harlots then. Women don't promise death. That sentence was almost blasphemy in a way. I only even allowed it to slip out of my mouth because you all are missing so much. So it's like everything out here is DEATH. You follow what I'm saying? The air itself. The algebra. Misleading. The only thing that leads you correctly in reality is life. The only thing that gives you proper guidance is life, the life force energy. Because the life force energy is literally that what it is, a life-giving force. A life-giving force will only give you life. A death-giving force will only give you death. And right now, the death-giving force is in control of our world. When the life-giving force, which is what I am advocating for here, needs to reclaim control of our world. You follow what I'm saying? This is ultimately what I'm trying to get at without putting all the comical details out there. It's the life force versus the death force. That's ultimately what I've been trying to say. And right now, currently, our dear family, every melanated man, woman, and child alive on this planet, and even the non-melanated men, women, and children on this planet, all of you are being driven by the death force. You are being driven by the death force. What do you think is going to happen while being driven by the death force? It's going to drive you to death. Therefore, I advocate every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet, whether you be of visible melanin or invisible melanin, due to the death force trying to drive you into the regular melanin to be extinct. I recommend we start fighting to allow the life force to reclaim its reality again. This is ultimately what I'm trying to get at. Skipping past all of that, all of the parables and whatnot that I was getting ready to say. Just want to talk about what I'm really ultimately advocating for here. The life force taking over everything. The life force taking over everything. Because right now the death force has our world in its grip through us. The death force has our world in its grip through us. We need to allow the life force to reclaim its world again. You follow what I'm saying? All these country names need to go bye-bye. Once we are ready, we can handle this process however we like to. All of these religions need to go bye-bye. Once we are ready. All of these tribes, gang wars, sloth, vanity, jealousy, greed, and fear and ignorance, all go bye-bye. The more we begin to tap into and or accept this here soul spirit of perfect love truth, what is true, and in accordance with factor reality to what needs to govern it, so to speak, because what's according to the reality in which we are in, all of the people of the world are being locked in place and driven by this death force when they need to snap out of it and allow the life force to reclaim its throne again, Birdman voice, and drive us home again. You follow what I'm saying? My voice. And all of our ancestors and everybody else and all of the other powers right now currently that are speaking to, within, and through me, and me being the conduit that I am allowing myself to be for them to speak to you, are all saying, let's go home. The soul spirit of perfect love's way. The truth and the life. Truth and the life. I really would like to give y'all some time to, sink all this information in, but we are at war. I am ready to fight for you the best way I can, because we just need to start fighting, beating this, getting out of it. These are just a few words, a handful of words that I'm just saying out loud that may help prevent all of humanity from destroying their lives even further. What would I like to conclude on that Emmanuel Macron and Donald Trump thing? Man, when we get the power, we're just going to stop you. I don't really know how to speak to you anymore, man. I'm really ready to start speaking in a plain and simple tongue. If the black people get it, the white people need to be stopped. When the black people get it, the white people will be stopped. Maybe. I have faith in you, though. I'm going to finish my Soul King military entrenchment, too. It's just a bunch of ideas I'm going to fire off into your world for the sole purpose of conquering every inch of it. I'm going to finish it up. Actually, maybe for a couple of days. I'm just going to work on it. Line up all the ideas in a proper order, so as I speak, everything will just pierce. And the more I pierce, the more you end. As soon as within, so throughout. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I am a weapon for every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet with visible melanin upon their skin. I only exist to see them win. I only exist to see their victory. I only exist to give them all of the ammunition they need, somehow, to take out the devil, in which is boring their stagnation into their chests. To every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet, people with visible melanin upon their skin, to you I pray. Peace, love, unity, and advancement to you all, my family.